I'd like to welcome everybody to the Crypto Millionaires Club. Tear down walled gardens, 10K per XRP, BIS, so it begins. Guys, this is a picture that Ripple has just tweeted a few minutes ago. 2020, the year of digital assets. Now, I'm here to tell you guys, I believe we're being trolled by the XRP community because this is also the same picture that, what are the odds of Ripple developer taking a picture with the blue brick a few weeks after Bearable Guy had it blinking on his profile? Now, here's the blue brick, and now here's Nick from Ripple with the blue brick. Shout out to the Bullet CEO. This is a much better picture right here. Here's Nick at the fireplace. Here's Nick holding the blue brick. Here's Brad Garlinghouse standing at the same exact position as Brad Garlinghouse in the Bearable Guy fireplace. And here's the blue brick. And today, Ripple tweets this: New year, new trends. Ripple executives share their thoughts on how new technology and applications for digital assets will lead to tangible change across industry. But guys, I'm here to tell you, you do not want to miss this interview from BIS saying tear down walled gardens, and we're working on an interoperable payment system. So we're going to show that, guys, in 1 second. But I'm here to tell you, I believe we're being trolled by Ripple. New year, new trends. This is the article right here. New year of the digital assets. Standing on the doorstep of a new year and a new decade, it's hard to believe that the first real public engagement with digital asset began only a few short years ago. So I will link this in the description, guys. I believe we get the point with the picture. That's for sure. Looks like Ripple's trying to tell us something. Thank you, Bullet CEO, the Bullet CEO, for this article right here. I will link all this in the description. Crypto Maniac, he's right on the money with that also. Now, here's the wall also, guys. It's awful ironic now. Ripple's coming out with a brick-like wall with Legos. And here's Bearable Guy with the brick-like Legos wall. So, interesting scenario there. Here is Madame Lagarde with Curry. Thank you for your invaluable work at the ECB over the past 8 years. I wish you all the best at the Bank of International Settlements. Now, speaking about the BIS, are central banks too conservative to innovate? Now, this is Hong Sung BIS podcast, and you do not want to miss this one right here. First one is 344.
It would be fair to say that the private sector is at its best at customer-facing activity, and this is when it can use its ingenuity and creativity to serve customers better. But when it comes to setting standards or laying a competitive level playing field,
When it comes to setting standards and level playing field. Now, did you guys hear what happened when he said setting standards? Listen closely, guys.
with a wide community of users, not just those that are involved in a particular transaction. So the role of the public sector should be placed in that larger context. Now, as for the division of labor between the private and public sectors, I don't think we can draw a definitive line, and in any case, practices differ across countries. But in general, it would be fair to say that the private sector is at its best at customer-facing activity, and this is when it can use its ingenuity and creativity to serve customers better. But when it comes to setting standards or laying a competitive level playing field,
When it comes to setting standards, and that's the same thing Stephen Mnuchin said, there will be a standard. The standard is registered with FinCEN, as Ripple is as a money transmitter since 2015. Now, I believe this is clearly the elites cueing the elites with the standard and level playing field. Now, also, if you move a little bit farther on 4 minutes,
there are good arguments for the public sector to play a role. And once that base is in place, there will be more scope for others to build on that base.
Do you have an example?
Well, in some respects, the evolution of the modern internet is a good example of this point. The internet has its origins in projects to join up computer networks in the military. But the big boost was the project in the 1980s to connect academic computer networks, like digital
wow.
currency. Together with messaging standard level playing field, there are good arguments and the convention governing email addresses. So you could think of these as core or foundational infrastructures that are best set up with the public interest in mind, rather than having a closed or segregated system. that is set up for the benefit of private interests. Now, the
Speaking of walled gardens, set up for private interest in a closed system.
analog for payment systems would be a core infrastructure that provides common addressing standards for individual accounts in the payment system as a whole.
Payment system as a whole. Now we're talking about interoperability and bring down walled gardens.
Together with messaging standards and other operating standards that allow account holders in the system to find each other.
Can you give us some examples of the types of central bank public goods that the hub centres are working on?
The hub centre in Switzerland will work on so-called tokenization of assets, which has to do
Tokenization of assets. It's coming.
with the digital representation of those assets. The specific application is to the securities market, where the tokenization will allow trading and settlement of securities.
Guys, you just said the tokenization of assets in the settlement of securities. Guys, we've got a relationship with Spring where they will use the ILP for this settlement of securities market. That is going to be a game changer.
By creating a single platform that works on distributed ledger technology, or
A single platform that works on DLT.
DLT, that integrates securities trading and settlement in central bank money. So as part of this work, the project involves the tokenization of cash itself on the same platform.
The tokenization of cash, bridge currency.
In terms of a wholesale central bank. No doubt there is still a lot of work to be done on this issue.
Are the hub projects only about digital currencies and payments?
No, the work has many more elements. For example, the Hong Kong Centre will develop a DLT-based platform to streamline processes payment services providers in the system. This would be an instance of the private provision of a public good. Now, the Global Stack project, which is our name for this project, envisages the public provision of digital ID. So it is the public provision of the public good. And the term stack in the Global Stack project refers to the fact that digital identity is only the base layer of the system. On top of the digital ID is built the consent layer and then the payments layer.
Okay.
So, go back to what we discussed earlier about uniform address formats for all users, even when they belong to the networks of different banks or other payment services providers. It's rather like the email address convention, which enables email to find its way to its intended recipient wherever they are.
Because money also has to be able to find its way to people wherever they are.
Yes, and as I mentioned before, there are so-called open APIs or open application
Open APIs.
programming interfaces, which make banking apps talk to each other. And in particular, it allows users of one bank's app to send and receive payments on their accounts held by other banks or other payment services providers in the system. So the combination of uniform address formats and open APIs eliminates closed or segregated networks where users are trapped within the network of one provider. And these closed networks are rather like so-called walled gardens that...
Bam! There it is right there, guys. He says, as of right now, these closed private networks, somewhat like walled gardens, is not working. We're moving towards a standard of open, interoperable API system. He's referring to Interledger Protocol for the settlement of securities and commodities. It is a game changer. BIS, Bank of International Settlements, so it begins. What do you guys think about that? Whoa. Boy, have they changed. The Crypto Millionaires Club logo will come down right now. Smash that logo to subscribe to the channel. You will be notified when I release videos throughout the day. Thank you for your time, guys. Much love. Mahalo.